This week's Piltch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by PureVPN. The best way to protect your privacy online is with PureVPN. You can hide your online activities, say goodbye to regional restrictions, and improve your streaming quality. Plus, it's available for almost all your devices, and you can get a special price and a 31-day money-back guarantee by going to piltchpoint.live/PureVPN. All right, so it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on together, and I know you've had some projects going on. I feel like you're going to show us something tonight.
Dun, dun, dun. Reveal. Well, I don't know how exciting that is to look at behind me, but there is an $800 PC that I have built. It is, and I want to talk about what you can build for $800 these days. So one of the things that's a little bit of a compromise is really the only RGB in this thing, the only cool lighting is on the front built into the case. But we started and we took a look. Hey, what type of PC can you put together for under $800? And why $800? Well, a lot of people want to build a PC for under $500, and it is possible, but you'll really have to compromise on performance and storage. $800, I think, is the beginning sweet spot for getting something that is good for a variety of things: gaming, productivity, and streaming. So you might be asking, well, why buy? Why not? Why build a PC? Why not just buy a pre-built desktop? Well, it would definitely cost you several $100s more to get what we put together in this PC. So here's what's inside for slightly less than $800. Although prices may vary day to day, things go on sale, off sale. Things, the particular video card we bought might be out of stock now and in stock next week. So keep that in mind. So what's in the system here? Well, first of all, this case, $60. It is an Antec DP301M micro ATX case. It's really quite nice. It has a tempered glass side panel over here. It has this RGB light in the front. It's got USB ports on the top and audio ports. And it's really good for cable management and not making things a mess. The CPU inside here is an AMD Ryzen 5 3600 CPU, which goes for around $185. That gives you 6 cores and 12 threads, so it's very good for multitasking, and it can go up to 4.2 gigahertz, so it's pretty quick. While you can get a Core i5 from Intel for around the same price, this gives you more threads for better multitasking. And it also comes with a really decent quality fan in the box, so you don't need to go out and buy a separate CPU fan. We also, for the graphics card, we were able to put in an NVIDIA GTX 1660 Super graphics card. This particular model that we put in there is a Gigabyte, but there are many brands that sell GTX 1660 Super based cards, and this was $230. And with it, we were able to get really solid frame rates of 40 to 60 FPS on high settings on some AAA games at 1080p. Now, if you want to go up to playing at higher resolutions like 2K, or you want ray tracing, then you got to spend more. But really pretty decent performance for a $230 graphics card. We were also able to put in 16 gigabytes of RAM, a set of Patriot Viper Steel memory, which was high-speed DDR4 RAM, cost $58, and a 1 terabyte Western Digital SN550, Western Digital Blue SN550 SSD, which only cost $105 when we bought it, but you can often find it on sale for $95. And that is a PCIe storage drive, so it's high speed. It's high speed SSD storage. It's not an old fashioned SATA drive. Rounding out the build, we have a 600 watt power supply that costs $55. It is a Thermaltake TR2 power supply. It is not a high end power supply, but power supplies have gotten very expensive, and that's an area where we really wanted to, cut some costs. And we got a Gigabyte B550 DS3H micro ATX motherboard that provides really solid performance, good mix of ports, four slots for RAM, really quite decent. So all told, our build came out to about $794. Now that is, at the time we bought the parts. That is not counting a few things. It does not count the cost of the operating system, which you may already have a copy of Windows, or you may buy a key for $20 somewhere, or you may be eligible to get it for free. There's a lot of ways to get Windows for free. You can even, we have an article about this on Tom's Hardware called How to Get Windows 10 for Free or Cheap. So you do not have to pay $130 for a Windows license. In addition, we also spent, we don't count this toward the total because a lot of people would put the PC near a router, but I bought an 802.11 AC USB Wi-Fi dongle for $37, and that, we're using that to connect to the internet because my home office here is kind of far from the router. But all told, you can see how we did it. More details with the parts by going to tomshardware.com. We've got the article on the $800 PC. But I think the overall message is you can build a pretty capable PC for under $800, and not only can you use it for gaming and use it for things like Photoshop, but this was actually quite competent to stream all the games that we played on it. Games like Red Dead Redemption 2, we'd lose about an average of about 10% on the frame rate from streaming, which is really not bad.
Now, when you say that, do you mean streaming the game via something like xCloud, or streaming your play to Twitch? Okay.
Streaming to Twitch. Obviously, if you're streaming from xCloud, then lots going on in the cloud. This is all the processing is taking place on the system. So if you're playing a game like Red Dead Redemption, which was getting like 55 frames a second for us, or is it 55? Maybe I'm confusing that was one of the more demanding games. So if you're playing a game that's getting, say, 55 frames per second, you might lose 5 frames per second by also streaming it to Twitch.
Okay.
And I tested this by streaming not just the game, but also video of myself and audio of myself. So it was having to do both: stream the game, compress the stream, and incorporate video from my webcam.
Gotcha. So you were doing live processing on top of live encoding, and
yes.
you only lost about 10%. That's actually not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That is with the those who do streaming to Twitch may know that you have a choice of a couple of different compressions. X264 gives it to you using the processor, but then there's also, if you use an NVIDIA card like this, there's NVENC, which you can use, which has the video card do the processing. I thought having the video card do the processing would mean that you got better performance, but actually it was 1 or 2 frames per second worse. So I wouldn't recommend using NVENC. But anyway, yeah, it's really not bad considering. I mean, a lot of streamers actually have a second PC that they use for picking up the stream. And obviously, if you're streaming from a console, you might need that. But if you're streaming from a PC game, you really don't lose a lot of performance.
That's really cool, because obviously we've talked not in a whole lot of depth, but somewhat about the machine that we use here in the studio, and you know we do 264 for our stream, and you know if you're watching the video, you know there's all kinds of there's motion now. There's two of us doing split screen. It's all being done on the system, and we learned the same thing, was that letting the processor be in charge made things run better, and so that's why we ended up with the Threadripper that we did. But yeah, obviously what we're doing is a whole lot more intensive for the encoding. But you know the fact that it's able to do that much without losing too much on the frame rate, really impressive.
I mean, I think it helps to have a processor that has 12 threads.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't need that many threads for the games.
Right. Yeah, that definitely helps. And you know, what does this one have, 32 or something like that? So yeah, I can definitely attest. We went up from 16 to 32 on this machine, and it changed our lives, as our regular viewers know. So yeah, being able to push that stuff off to the processor is nice. And I imagine you have a full list of everything that's in here on the website.
Yes. Full list, pictures, description of how I built it, any problems that we ran into. Very minor. It was actually pretty easy to build. It was the easiest build I've ever done. I didn't cut myself. It booted up when I turned it on the first time. All things that usually don't happen when I do a PC build.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't even doing a PC build this week, and I've got a cut here on my finger that's it's pretty big, because I was just trying to get a computer that used to work again.
Yeah.
With no changes. So, powering on first time, congratulations. That's great. I look forward to seeing to going and checking out the full list of everything that's in there. And I want to see the pictures, because, you know, seeing it, I'm looking over at you now. For those of you who are noticing that I'm doing things differently tonight, it's because I don't have him over here yet, because the studio's still in process. So I'm looking at you to my right like I used to. And seeing the computer back there is fun, but I really want to see pictures in progress. Those are my favorite.
I have pictures of the inside and all that. So.
Very cool. Well, as always, Avram, I definitely always appreciate getting to see some of the weird things that you get to work on that I don't. So, what? Sorry, my brain's a little fried right this second, because we had 2 segments in a row go change on us. So, what? Thank you for showing it off, and I look forward to seeing all the details and finding out what we talk about next time.